Hey there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and in this video I'm going to show you how I put together June Stamp Club card packet. So one of the projects in the card packet is a little box like this, right? I'm not going to show you how to put this together. I cased it from Brenda Quintana, a fellow demonstrator, and she has a great video out there, so I'm going to let you, or have you, go to her video and she'll show you how to put the box together. Now in your packet, all the pieces to the box are in the back here, and the two projects are divided by this long piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and take all those box pieces out and set those aside. And like I said, thank you, Brenda, for the video. It's a great video. You just go there, the link is in below, and you can make your box right there, right? Cute little box. Okay, let's go to the second project then, okay? So this long piece here in your packet, we're gonna start with that basic white. And I told you we're gonna use the Extraordinary Flora for our stamp set and dies. So the first thing we wanna do is stamp on this piece using this great big stamp right here. Okay, and I'm gonna use my Stamparatus, and I have it set up. I'm sure you have it, or if you have a positioning tool, which I'm sure you have one of those too, you know how to set it up, so I'm not gonna show you how to do that. But I'm gonna take my paper and just set it right here, my Stamparatus, make sure that my magnet holds my paper in place, and then using my black Memento ink pad, here he is. Now, I've taken a blank white pad and I've added Memento black ink to it. That way I have a Memento black foam pad, which are a little bit more user-friendly. And one tip that I have for you is when you ink up the pad, you see how you can see the white pad under the ink. You just put a layer on the top. Don't saturate the whole thing. Just put a thin layer of ink on the top, and then that makes it work just like butter. Well, like a foam ink pad. So I'm gonna take and ink that up really good with my black Memento ink. Although, depending on what you decide to color your flowers with, you could use any ink pad here. I like the black Memento because it washes off and doesn't stain my, wait, I gotta move my magnet a little bit. It doesn't stain my stamp set like StazOn, for example, would. Okay, set that down. We're gonna get a crisp image right here all over our white paper with our pretty little flowers. And then just like that, boom, you have those flowers all stamped. Love this as a background stamp too. We'll probably use it next month as a background stamp. Okay, then what you need to do is you need to color all your flowers. Now, I suggested you use colored pencils. Now, my colored pencils, I have boxes and boxes of colored pencils in here, and I just use those to color my flowers. I did one in advance, so you don't have to watch me. And by the power of TV or video or whatever, I have them all right here ready to go, except this one. So I thought I will color one with you, and I'm gonna make this one match this. No, because I would use this one on my box, I think. So it depends. Usually I would stamp them, cut them out, and then color them. But since it would take too long in the video, I colored them in advance. So I'm going to just color this one just like this one. And I took a little bit, let me find my pencil here, of Coastal Cabana. I don't know why. I wanted a pop of like a lighter teal kind of color in there. And I would just color that flower. And I'm not going to do much blending and shading with my flowers, but I'm going to just kind of scribble in there. And then I'm going to use my color lifter blends, and I'm that white, whoops, I want to use the bullet tip. I'm going to use this tip and then just smooth out that colored pencil. And now normally, or I guess in the past, we've always used a blender pen. Now blender pens aren't quite as paper friendly. If you color too long with the blender pen, it kind of messes up your paper. With the alcohol based, I'm cleaning my pen here since I have that white tip. I'm going to try to get any ink that's, or any colored pencil. Whoops, wait, I missed a spot. That's in my pencil out here. But anyway, the color lifter won't do that to your paper. It won't rough up your paper or mess up your paper at all. Okay, then I'm going to take some Old Olive here. And you can see on my other coloring, I've used a bunch of different greens, a bunch of pinks and yellows, and just tried to make them bright and cheery and all different. And I noticed that this is Old Olive has a really nice point on it, so it's getting pretty dark when I color on my paper here. Darker than the other ones I colored earlier. I must have used one of a different colored pencils in my little box here. Doesn't matter, it's gonna work out just fine. I'm just gonna, like I said, kind of scribble on there, and then I'll take my color lifter, and this is where I'll make sure I get the edges and fill in all that white. It just kind of smooths out and moves that colored pencil just where you want it. Okay, hold on, I'm not gonna take too long. And these little flowers don't take a lot of time, but they do take a minute to get them all colored. Okay, clean my brush again. Okay, now I am gonna just take a little bit of garden green and maybe just kind of put some accent color on there so my leaves aren't totally green. They're totally one color green. I'm gonna kind of add some green to them and give them some shadowing here at the bottom. And like I said, I'm gonna just scribble a little bit of color on there. I'm not very artistic, so shadowing and shading are not my strong points. And it's kind of easy. And then I'm gonna just kind of blend that in there. When you just take the chance and just do it, it's kind of easy. That's what I was saying. You don't have to be a true artist to blend. We just want some color on our leaves so they're not just boring one color green. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'll take it just like that and clean my marker here. And I make sure I kind of twist it around in my hand like this to get all sides of that point. So then later, when I go to use my marker, or really it's a Stampin' Blend, I won't have any color on there. Okay, now if I get all my pencils, I'm done coloring. I've got them all colored. Now we're gonna cut this out. I missed one. So bring in that die, one great big die like this, and your die cut machine. Let me grab that. I'm gonna set it up on my plate first. So I have my platform or my die adapter, my cutting pad, and then I'm gonna put my paper on there. And then I'm gonna take my time here and I'm gonna line up all, it's like that wasn't right, but that was right. All my flowers, I'm gonna check all the corners and make sure they all look good and just kind of slide it around until they look like they're all lined up. How's that look? Looks like it needs to go this way just a touch and then back that way a touch. Now my flowers in the center look pretty good. And I forgot to say, you notice that I left some of my flowers black and white because, or leaves really is what I left black and white, because I want those black and white on my card as well. It's gonna be black and white with just a pop of color. Okay, it's where I want it. I'm gonna just use some Post-it tape and let's hold that in place. So when I go to set it on my die cut machine, trying to see, have all my little pieces and parts lined up? No, I'm still sliding it around. There. Check my little flowers on the inside. There, I think that's where I want it right there. Okay, then I'm gonna set this on top, bring in my die cut machine, and let's run that through and cut that out. Pop out all those little flowers. Now I made sure that your cardstock in your packet was big enough that you could even stamp a little bit more. Say you wanted more of one flower, you could stamp it again, color it again, die cut it again. You could have a few more little flowers if you needed them. Okay, let's go on and make the card. Get these all off there. We have all of our little flowers now. Now one, make sure you save. You want to put that on your box. Okay, here, turn them all over. Okay, let's set these aside and let's make the card. So back to our packet. Take everything out now. Now here's your third card. Stamp Club is 3 cards. One I make for you and send in your packet, and then the other 2 we make together. And the reason I do that is because before, when we met in person for Stamp Club, we would always do a swap, and so I guess I just continued including my swap in there, and that's what that's all about. Okay, so this piece here, this is some thick basic white. I'm going to take my bone folder and reinforce those folds. One of them's already folded because that's how I fit it into your packet. This bottom fold here, we're going to just fold up. And it should be long enough to cover that cardstock that folded down, that fell down, this one. So it's going to look like this because we're going to make a matchbook card. Okay, now the first thing I want to do is take my seed packet here and my stapler, and I'm going to set my seed packet in there and guess about where I want it to sit, about like that. So I'm going to take and staple down here at the bottom so I can still take my seeds out. Unless you're worried they're going to fall out, you could staple them to it. Just hard for your person that gets your card to get those out of there. So I'm going to make sure it just sits right like above where I'm going to staple it. Then when I staple it, I'm going to make sure, now you know your stapler has a smooth side and a bumpy side. I'm going to make sure that my smooth side is in the back, and I'm going to make sure the bumpy side is in the front. Let's see if I got that about. Is it centered? And do I have it where I want it? I do. Okay, so I'm going to just staple that there. So now this is the bumpy side, and the back side has that smooth side because we're going to cover this up. Another little piece in your packet looks like this. This is thick basic white too. We're going to lay that right on here and just cover it up. Now I'm going to use glue dots because I think if you use tape or if you use liquid glue, it's going to kind of poke through. That staple it's going to show on the front of your card, and we don't want that. So I'm going to just put a little glue dot in all the corners here and cover up that staple. Make sure I get them in the corners just like that. You can probably see them. Okay, and then I'm going to just place this itty bitty little border right here, right on there, and cover up those staples like that. Now we have a nice fresh and this doesn't look too bad. It's not going to cut anybody because it's the smooth side. Okay, let's set this aside and work on the card front now. Let me put this card in there so you can see what we're doing. Okay, so I have a piece of basic black, and then I've cut some designer series paper down to size so it's a matte, and then I took those Spotlight of Nature's dies and I cut out that center of that designer series paper. Now don't throw that away. We're going to put that with this circle layered on the inside of our card. But I want to take this piece and very carefully I'm going to put glue all around the edges. This time I'm going to use my precision tip well, it's green glue in there into my precision tip bottle so I can get those little dots, especially here on the edge. Just go so it doesn't, a little bit goes a long way, but I want to make sure that these sides right here are really stuck down. So I'm going pretty close to the edge of the circle with just a little bit of glue. There we go, something like that. Then I'm going to center this onto that black piece. And with that liquid glue, we can kind of slide it around where we want it. And now get him flat. He looks like that. And the reason I did it this way is because when we took the same size circle here, the same die, and cut out a basic white, but now, let's poke those little pieces out. There, did I get them all? Nope, here's another one. Get all those out. But now you can see that black is gonna show through that circle of white again, and I really like that. Okay, so now we need to do some stamping. Here on this stamp set, I use the, and I thought I had it right here. I do. I used, nope, I don't have it here. I don't remember which stamp set it is. You'll have to let me know if you need to know what stamp set that is. But on this one, I'm going to use the right words. I'm going to do a birthday card. So I'm going to just take that happy birthday. Oh my gosh, that's not here. 2 seconds, so sorry. That was embarrassing. I used them last night when I was creating some cards. If you want to see those cards, I'll show you those too. And I haven't even put my stickers on my stamp set yet, so shame on me, but I'm gonna try to stamp straight without my stickers. And I'm gonna take this happy birthday and I'm gonna stamp it up here like I did here so I can put my flowers around it. Now, if you wanna kind of lay your flowers out and decide, you know, where you want to stamp and where you want your flowers, that's fine too. But I'm going to just stamp up here and then I'll circle my flowers around my stamp. Let's see if he's, okay, he's good. I thought he might still be wet. Like I said, I was making some cards, cleaned my stamps. Okay, let's take him out of here. And I'm going to just stamp him here. Now, the cool thing about a circle is if I get him a little bit crooked, is he upside down? No, he's not upside down. I can turn my circle and make him straight again. But there we go, nice happy birthday. And then on the inside, I'm gonna put to someone we're celebrating every single day. So on this stamp here, or this circle here, and now this is where you would write your greeting. This too is all optional. If you don't even wanna put the circle on the inside, you don't have to do that either. But I thought it was a nice touch under the seed packet. You have a little surprise. I'm gonna make sure I don't have it upside down. Let's do a practice run, because without your stickers, I need to put the stickers, there we go. I need to put the stickers on my stamp. I'll make sure I do that sometime soon. I'm gonna just stamp that pretty high, and then I could just write Love Kathy at the bottom, maybe their name at the top. Okay, so now our stamping is all done. Very simple, but yet wow card, I think. I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna take this one now and put some, now that he's dry mainly, and put some glue on the back. Now you could put glue all along the little edges. I'm not gonna worry about it. I don't think it's gonna stick up enough to matter. But I'm gonna lay this, making sure now that my happy birthday is straight when I lay that circle inside there, just like that. Okay, bring back in that matchbook card, and we're gonna take this and we're gonna center it on here. Now you'll notice that my black goes a little bit lower than the flap, because this really is going to tuck into here, like so, and then the black is gonna stay on the front, on the outside. If you can see in my sample card, see how the black is on the outside and this is on the inside. Looks like, okay? So let's go ahead and put this down. Now I'm gonna put mine down with dimensionals. I'm gonna make sure that I don't have dimensionals on the bottom. I'm gonna just put 2 rows along the top here. So grab my dimensionals. I'm gonna run out of dimensionals too. Oh, I have just enough. So my dimensionals, you see, are just along the top, and the bottom is where it's gonna hang over and not stick to this part down here. But I'm gonna center this on the front of my card. So it looks something like that. So then when you open it, it still opens. And when you close it, you hold the black up and slide that white underneath that base. Looks like that. Okay, let's go ahead and add our little flowers there. And like I said, I kept some that are black and white, and then I colored a bunch of them. So I'm gonna even start, I think, with this one here. I don't know why, but I like that black and white right up the side there. So I'm going to just, with some liquid glue, glue him down right there. And then I'm going to start building. So I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of my rose here. And just kind of stick him right there. And then maybe this one, let's put a dimensional on the back of him. Or a piece of dimensional. And then he could maybe sit there. Yeah, that'll look all right. Let's take this little guy. I think I'm going to take him. Nope, I'm not going to take him. I want some color back here. So I'm going to pop, yep, I'm going to put this one flat just under there. And like I said, you're just taking your flowers and building what looks good to you. And you might want to lay them all out before you start to lay them all down like I'm doing. But I think, nope, I think that looks good just right there, kind of building up into that. Let's put this little guy down here. Yeah, he's going to go back there. And then maybe I take a mini dimensional, which of course I don't have right here. I'm going to just take a little dimensional here and pop it kind of in between this yellow and teal flower. Whoop, I moved my other little flower. You come back here. Kind of tuck it under there like that, and I lost the whole thing. I tucked the whole thing under there. Hold on, instant replay. Let's just take a piece of dimensional. I want it underneath here. So when I put that little purple flower, there we go. I'm going to put a little purple flower right there. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, let's do a couple more. Maybe not too many. Maybe this little guy here. Along with those leaves there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and put those down. This, by the way, is my favorite flower out of that whole set. I like that little cone flower, I think they're called. I should let my glue dry some more, because otherwise I keep moving it when I put the next piece in there. But for video's sake, we're going to go quick. Okay, now I'm going to kind of just give it some more color and pop by adding these two. There's 3 more little purple flowers. I'm going to save this one for the inside of my card, and I'm going to just lay these here and there with a dimensional underneath them. And I wish, if I was smart, I'd have my mini dimensionals here, but I don't. I'm going to take this little guy and just put a little pop of color there, and this little guy, and I'm going to put him up here in the other corner. There. No, I think we need one more right here. Do we want something black and white? Do we want something? Yeah, let's put him right there, and then we're good. Now, like I said, if I wanted to add another little purple flower in there, all I have to do is go die cut and run that thing and color one little purple flower, and I could add even more little flowers. But I think right now it's good to go. Now, remember the box that I told you we were going to make, and you were going to go watch Brenda's video? The box works perfect to take all these little extra flowers and toss into your box, and now you'll have them for your next project. Okay, let's finish up our card. I'm going to just take a little bit of liquid glue, and I'm going to glue this circle onto my bigger circle. And I did mention, right, that these are all from the Spotlight of Nature dies. You gotta love those circle dies. They've got lots of edges and lots of personality. They're just a good die set. Okay, get that centered good there. And then open my card here. And then I'm gonna glue this on the inside of my card here. So like I said, when my person gets their card, they'll see the packet like this. When they take the packet out, they get a little surprise in the back. So I'm gonna just take a little bit of liquid glue here. And stick that down just like that. And then my seed packet covers it. Let's see if it's dry. I'm gonna give it a couple more. No, it's good. Seed packet covers it. We close our card, separating the white and the black, and tuck the white behind our matchbook part. And there you go, there's your card. Now you can see they're always gonna look different. Depends on how you put your flowers and where you put your flowers. But I have one more. Yep, now this one, I didn't stamp it. I used the black and white of the ephemera pack. So it looks like that. So there's lots you could do with these cards. Alrighty, that's what I have for you for Stamp Club. Of course, if you have any questions, be sure and let me know. One thing I need to mention, and it doesn't make me very happy, but Stampin' Up! Is having a heck of a time keeping their washi tape that coordinates with this stamp set in stock. So the washi tape, again, is on back order. I'll keep an eye out. It's supposed to be back the middle or toward the end of July, I think around the 21st, and I'll let you know again when the washi tape comes back in stock. I'd love to be able to use that in July Stamp Club. Alrighty, that's what we have. Let me show you the third card. Be sure and go check out Brenda's video and put your box together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here next month. Bye-bye.